Um, Hollis, let's turn to you.
Okay, yeah. So Hollis is Alice's younger sister. She's a freshman, so around 15 years old, 1 year younger than Alice. Hollis was adopted from China as a baby, and she's close to both of her older siblings. She loves Alice, and she idolizes her oldest sibling, Jack. Hollis is definitely the baby of the family, so while the parents are probably pretty strict on Jack, Hollis definitely gets maybe to run around and isn't as supervised as much. Hollis is a film nerd and has a weekend job at the Silent Falls movie theater, which is at the Sunset Plaza Strip Mall. You can always find her watching art house movies nobody has ever heard of, and her dream is to move to New York City for college and become a famous director. So the background question was Alice always lies to others about something to protect you. What is she trying to hide? So one thing that's been happening maybe over the last 6 to 12 months is their mom. She is a good person according to Hollis and really loves the kids, but she recently hasn't been a super stable parent, and they're just not sure like what's going on, if it's like a personal issue or a mental health thing. But so Alice has often had to cover for their mom when she's flaking or kind of being erratic. Um, Recently, for the school talent show, Hollis made like a short film on her iPhone. Maybe some of you guys even acted in it. And unfortunately, their mom didn't come to the talent show, which made her really upset. Um, Also, recently, Alice helped Hollis get her learner's permit. And Hollis has been trying to convince Alice to study for finals so Alice won't, but she's noticed that Alice has been more distant recently. Like she's, too cool for her little sister. So she's kind of wondering
Mhm.
what's up with that.
That's too bad. Um, so sorry, you said Alice helped Hollis get her learner's permit?
Yeah, because Hollis is younger,
Okay.
so I was thinking
Yeah.
Alice could
No,
probably,
I thought
yeah.
maybe you'd flipped it so that like Alice just had not, and Hollis was like, "Come on, you need a car."
No, no, I think they probably like share the family car, and Alice took her to the empty parking lot at the high school and made her like drive in circles until she figured out how to park, kind of thing, like with your siblings. Jack was in the
Yeah,
backseat driving both of them, of course. There was like a lot of yelling. um,
excellent. Uh, Jordan, what do you want to know about Hollis?
I couldn't hear anything Hollis said. Can you
Oh,
do a quick
oh,
summary?
can other
shoot.
people hear me when I talk? I'm sorry.
I
Mm-hmm.
could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can put down the notes if you like in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great. Just some
TLDR,
quick.
she's the youngest baby sibling, adopted from China. Really close to her siblings, film nerd. Her kind of like background is that Alice has been covering for their mom, who's been really flaky and just erratic lately. They're not really sure what's up with that. Her mom didn't come to the school talent show to see her film that she made, and then finally she's really concerned because Alice doesn't seem interested in studying, and Alice has been really distant
Sorry, I'm just
and
double checking on my reading really
too
quick.
cool. Yeah.
Shoot. Um, that came through this time though?
No, I can't hear her. I can only see what they're typing in.
Oh, still not.
Oh, should I
Mm-mm.
Okay.
rejoin
I
maybe?
think you can
No.
leave the chat, leave the voice chat, and come back, and then you could hear, because it's sometimes Discord does that, that you can hear someone specifically.
Yeah, let me
Just
move you
leave.
and bring you back. Okay, let's sound off here. Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear
Can
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey. Okay. And
yeah.
So
and
Sometimes
Steven?
Discord
strange.
does.
Testing.
Okay.
Yep,
Phew.
gotcha. I'm having all the technical difficulties today. Sorry, guys.
No, that happens. No worries. So, the too long didn't read of the too long didn't read. Um, Hollis is adopted from China. treated like the classic little sibling, very into film, wants to be a director in New York City. Uh, the Briarwood's mom has been flaky and erratic recently, and that's been causing some problems at home. Um, she didn't go to the talent show that Hollis had prepared this movie for, and she just got trained by Alice on driving.
Is Alice and Hollis close enough that they like share clothes? Like, does Hollis always
Hmm.
go steal clothes from Alice all the time, or is she like, no, I'm just gonna kind of keep that space?
I think they occasionally, if it was like an emergency or they got caught outside and like somebody spilled and like they need like a spare sweater. But I think Hollis is definitely that like stereotypical teen film nerd and she would have a different aesthetic than Alice. So I think she thinks her style is like much more cool and chic and she wouldn't be taking Alice's like, you know. But she does appreciate Alice's secret her girlfriend's name is Julia, right? Like,
Yeah.
I believe she's in on the secret, and she appreciates Julia's style a little bit more.
Does she cover for Alice when Alice tries to sneak out of the house?
Yeah, she would. She definitely is probably being the baby. I think the mom is like the least hard on her, so she's also the most likely to believe Hollis's like lies and stuff. But especially in the last like 3 or 4 months, their mom hasn't really been around a lot, and so there hasn't been as much of a need to like lie to her.
Gotcha. No, I think I'm good on questions right now.
Cool. Steven, what do you think? What else do you want to know?
Um, how does your room decor differ to Alice's?
Yeah, I think Alice's is more kind of Spartan. I think she's a bit more sporty. She might have one of those like boy band posters up too, or maybe like one of those which of course Hollis is like horrified by and thinks is so pedestrian. Hollis definitely has these like framed film posters of films that are not in English that you have completely never heard of before on her like walls. It's also very neat. She definitely also is the person who would buy like a $5 DVD player and then tell people that like physical media is like coming back from streaming and she wishes there was like a Blockbuster. So she's definitely like that artsy, pretentious Tumblr teen girl. And I say that as someone who used that as well. But so I'm basically playing myself. But yeah, she is more like a moody, dark tones in her bedroom. Whereas I think Alice likes bright pastel colors.
Awesome. Evan, what do you want to know about Hollis?
Yeah, so I think with that kind of background and what with her mom, that Alice is more parents, I think I will change that all is probably like 90% sure that Evan has a crush on Alice. Like very probably and so I was thinking like um I was thinking like maybe because Evan spends a lot of time in their home tutoring Alice, um, and he might be also helping her a bit in the house because their mom not much uh helping. Is Alice like Alice? Yeah, I think yeah that's how it's pronounced, Alice. Um, is she more more close to Evan. As
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I understand the question. Like more close than someone else or more close recently?
uh yeah, like uh not just not just like, oh, he's just a friend of Alice. Um
Okay.
just
Yeah.
more close. Yeah, if they're more closer and they're more um
More than just an acquaintance.
yeah,
To
exactly.
Hollis?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess as like I think she would probably like you as kind of fellow nerds. Maybe we sometimes like in a friendly way gang up on Alice and tease her. And Alice also thinks we're like insane because you're the math nerd and like a genius at that, and I'm the one with my like obscure film, so we can like bond over these interests that aren't like super common or popular in Silent Falls. Yeah, I think we could be friends, and
Yeah.
I think your crush is probably not going to work out, but I'm nice to you because I feel like you're going to hopefully help my sister not flunk her classes. So yeah, we can be
Mm,
buds.
yeah,
Can I
Nice.
ask a question as well? One
let's
more.
go.
Yeah.
How has your relationship with Stephen been since they broke up?
I guess it's kind of between me and Steven's player. I guess from Hollis's perspective, it sort of depends if you felt like I was the interloper younger sister who was like always getting in the way of dates, or if like maybe we had a positive relationship. I think that's kind of maybe like, what do you think, person playing Steven? I'm open
I
to discussing.
Yeah, well, I was gonna play Steven as like a good kid all around, and he has known Alice since elementary school, so he probably grew up with you too. So it's kind of. I also want to know where you want to lean into as well. So generally a good relationship, but what do you think Alice told you about him?
I guess it's a little hard because you haven't introduced your background yet,
Mm.
but how do you feel about maybe Alice feeling like you were a little clingy and her not knowing like the future if you were gonna stay together after high school, which maybe contributed something to the breakup?
I love that. I love that a lot.
Okay, so I like you. I think you're a good kid, but I just don't think you're like compatible for my sister, especially as like someone who loves her so much. You know, guys got to reach those high standards for her, guys and gals. So Steven's a great guy, but maybe not for my sis, that kind of thing.
Excellent. Uh, we are also going to do some more in-depth uh, character building relationships after the introductions too. So good that you've gotten to jump on that. Um, Jordan, tell us about yourself. Or actually, no, I had one thing about Hollis. What how have you been rationalizing Alice being missing for the past few days?
Well, first I thought she was just like avoiding me because she kind of does that sometimes, like blows me off, especially if it's a thing with like Julia or whatever, because her girlfriend comes first and she's number one, blah 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 blah, doesn't have time for me and my my French subtitled films. Um, but then I started probably at like day two to get concerned, especially if I haven't heard from Julia that she's like over at her house. Because first I thought, oh, she's just like avoiding mom or like doesn't want to deal with us, or she's just like sick of the house and she like went to her girlfriend's. But it's been a couple days and she's usually not like this. And I don't think, and I've been talking to Jack too and been like, hey, have you seen her? And he hasn't. So now I think we're starting to we're kind of in that stage of like denial in the sense that we're like hoping we're just overreacting, but there's a gut feeling that like something is like really wrong.
Yeah.